is a particular book I want to mention to you that I had a special interest in. It's called The Friendliness of Total Strangers, a Donegal adventure by a man called Alan Hemmings. And it tells the story of a young couple, newly married, coming from Derby in England to set up a weaving factory, a weaving enterprise, a weaving business in Donegal in 1951. And they settled in a little cottage in a place called Lechercock, Crovai Lechercock, which is between roughly Dunlow and Loughnure. And there's a photograph of the cottage on the cover of the book. And when I say a little cottage, I mean the centre door and the window either side, and that's it, 2 chimneys. And there was a sort of corrugated, dreary iron shed next door. And their water came from an open well just across the lane outside the door. And they had this dream of setting up a weaving business because they loved textile and they were trained in textiles and so on. And they came to Donegal in 1951. I cannot imagine what the circumstances might have been during the winter in 1951 in this place. Try to remember what the roads would have been like. And they sent all their stuff behind them, as it were, to catch up on them when they came to Donegal by ship, needless to say. And all of their stuff, including their equipment, was sent by mistake to Dunlow, as in Gap of in County Kerry, rather than Dunlow in County Donegal. So that took an extra month or 6 weeks to make its trip. Can you imagine trying to figure that out in 1951? Remember, no mobile phones, no iPods, no iPads, no computers, no nothing. I can't imagine where there would have been a telephone near Lechercock, because I know the place and I know the main road and I know that you can look down on this little cottage from the passing road. So I don't know what he would have done. He didn't have a car, Joy and Alan Hemmings. They didn't have a car. They had a rally bicycle. I don't know where the rally bicycle came from, a big upstairs rally bicycle. And Donegal was 30 miles away. And in the other direction, he would have cycled to Loughnure and Dunfanaghy and Gortahork and all of that area, and Gweedore, trying to sell his wares, which he did. And when they arrived in the cottage, it was completely empty. The people who were renting it to them just stripped it completely of everything, so they had nothing. And their stuff, as I say, was 6 weeks behind them. And they settled in there to do this thing. And it's just an amazing story. It's extraordinary. And he travelled around all of the local area trying to sell his stuff. And the amazing thing is that they call themselves Donegal Design, and they eventually went from strength to strength. And they eventually, surprise, surprise, moved to Dublin. And they ended up employing over 20 people just up the road in Clonskee. And Sybil Connolly, the extremely famous designer, locked onto their wares. And that resulted in exports to many well-known American and European fashion shops. And the colourful brushed mohair went on to win a number of European awards. For anybody in Donegal, this would be a wonderful read, and I took a particular interest in it because I know the area. And I know that they talk about, the book is called The Friendliness of Total Strangers, and they talk about how good people were in the local area to them when they first came there. And in particular, they mentioned the Temple family. Lynn Temple's mother was extraordinarily kind to Joy Hemmings when she was having her first baby and had to go to Donegal to live at the hotel in the town there. And people were generally very, very kind to her. And he mentions all kinds of local people and the people who were good to them and all of that. But it must have been utter, indescribable misery in the cold and the wind and the rain. You think setting up in business today is a hard, tough grind. Boys, oh boys, oh boys, you don't know what it must have been like in 1951 in Donegal. And good luck to yous all now.